What's up, guys? Welcome to Some Gaming Podcast. I'm Adam Rochelle. With me, as always, is Chad Armstrong. Don't.
Hello.
Okay, that was probably sounded super creepy.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So we've been gone for 3 weeks. We're back now. A lot of shit has happened. God, I feel like I'm running down the same fucking thing every time. Like, we go away for a while, and I'm like, oh, this fucking crazy shit happened, man. We missed all of it.
Yeah, that's about what happens.
Okay, yeah. Well, a lot of stuff did happen. I mean, I don't...
Generally, when you go away for a long time, shit still happens. It'd be great if the world was just like, we're not going to do anything.
I know I've been to prison.
When I got out, Scruffy was surprised by what he saw. Not the way he lived.
Yeah, this is the best scene ever. But yeah, so today I guess we're going to kind of go over some of the stuff that did happen. Not like everything, because I know if you're listening to this, you've probably already caught up on a lot of the stuff that's gone down.
One would hope.
There's
that one person just living under a rock like, what are these guys going to say?
Don't judge my lifestyle.
You just wait for me to show up.
Yeah.
You're like, what's happening?
Yeah. But yeah, so if you don't know, this is Some Gaming Podcast every week. Ha 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 ha.
The idea is every week.
The idea is every week. We get together. We're another stupid fucking podcast about video games. And we talk about
stupid people.
Stupid podcast. And talk about games and stuff going on. We're trying to branch out and do like a little bit different kind of a thing. So if you guys have any other ideas other than us just like bringing down the news and stuff like that, I'm going to just shoot them our way. But
shoot us.
Yeah.
Shoot them at us.
Shoot us. Yeah. But yeah. So, just a quick rundown of some of the stuff I guess we can talk about. Call of Duty, of course. Big surprise that got announced a couple days ago.
They're making another Call of Duty?
Yeah, they're making another one.
Oh my god, I don't... We have to stop the podcast. My world has just been rocked.
Smashed, gathered.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they would continue.
So yeah, Black Ops 3 got announced. We saw a teaser trailer of it earlier. Or, not really a teaser trailer. Did you see what they did with this?
I did not really.
They put these, like, Snapchat things, like the little Snapchat symbol, the little ghost guy. Mm-hmm. They put those, kind of like QR codes, they're basically what they were, in the, like, maps for Call of Duty. Ooh. Like, you know, where they have, like, random, like, advertising and stuff. Like, if you're playing in a city, there's going to be billboards and stuff like that. Well, they had them on those, and so people noticed them. Like, that wasn't there before, and then they traced it, and it was just like a kind of like a little teaser, and it just kind of was like a pan through some woods, and people were like, oh, the light's shining where it makes a 3 on the ground and all this other stuff. But that's pretty much it. Someone was talking and stuff like that and said very vague things. But then we got confirmation now that, yeah, they're making Black Ops 3.
I like how game companies don't ever just, like, announce things anymore. They're like, hey, we're going to sneak this in, and on this corner, if you look at it, the light generally reflects the reverse image.
Well, what's crazy is sometimes they do that, and, like, they let it ride for a long time. Like, this, they immediately after, they were like, yeah, it's Black Ops 3. But, like, some people, do you remember, like, what was the Halo thing with the bees?
Oh, I Love Bees?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That's like, that was an ARG or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a whole company that's all they do is do that kind of campaign for companies.
Yeah.
But I love it because everybody always jokes about Half-Life 3, and so anytime on the internet you're like, oh, Valve, fucking Valve, and GDC had their conference on the third month. It was the third day of the third month at 3:00, and everybody's like, oh, there it is, and then no, nothing.
At this point, you got to think like they're just having fun with it.
And the great thing is, all of their marketing can revolve around 3, because then nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's Half-Life 3. No, it's Team Fortress 3. Clearly, no, it's Left 4 Dead 3. Guys, come on. They're geniuses. They're torturous, but they're geniuses.
They're like binary. Like they go to a certain number and then just stop.
Yeah, I don't think they can count to 3. They can't.
Well,
I think
we know they don't need to. Like they don't need to make Half-Life.
Oh, and Portal 3. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, Portal 3.
But I think if you asked them how many games were in the orange box, they would tell you 2.
Yeah.
Even though there were 3. They'd just be like, yeah.
I think Portal 3 will happen before any of the other ones get a sequel.
Possibly. A lot of people were saying that it may intersect with Half-Life 3 because there's a lot of crossover. Because Aperture Science was like the major competitor to Black Mesa, which is where Half-Life happens. And so they exist in the same universe. And so a lot of people were saying, well, what if you... Because they had the gravity gun versus the portal gun. Like, what if we put those in the same environment and had that happen? Like, what gameplay opportunity did that open up? Which would be cool.
That'd be cool. I don't really see those franchises crossing just because of how different they are.
Yeah, I mean,
in terms of like,
there's like
Portal's all about humor and puzzling and stuff like that. But it basically the overall just vibe you get from you know.
They're very different.
Yeah,
I'll do anything with fucking Cave Johnson in it though. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, and that is one little bit of news that I don't think we had mentioned leading up to this. But Gabe Newell did address the whole Half-Life thing while we were out.
Actually, yeah, that's true. He said
he didn't say anything solid, but he
nothing solid. But he kind of said like if like everybody on the team decides, hey, we want to do this, then we'll do it. But,
yeah, but then he followed it up with that doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means. So that could mean that people on the team do think that it's worth investing time and money in, and they may be working on it. But that's what he said he was like, we would only do it if the team wanted to do it. Maybe they do want to. We don't know. Thank you for nothing, Gabe Newell.
Yeah.
Also, you are amazing, and thank you for everything that you did.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and instead of... No, I'll save it. I'll save it for another segment.
You can't just do that.
No, I'm going to...
No, you can't.
do it. I'm going to do it.
Hurts me right here.
Okay, well, I'll explain it further in depth in a different one, but just as a quick thing to be fucking stripped down and brandished and hated, I did not care for the Half-Life games.
Okay, shut it down.
Yeah.
I can't. No.
To be fair, I only played the second one. I can't remember if it was episode 1 or 2.
Wait, you didn't play the game proper? Like,
What?
you only played episode 1?
I can't remember which one I played.
Like, where...
I played something in the orange box.
That doesn't narrow it down.
The orange box had...
I believe it had Half-Life 2, episode 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Game proper. So it depends on which one of those you played.
Okay, well...
Because episode 1...
I started at the beginning.
Of the Half-Life grouping, episode 1 is generally considered the weakest of all Half-Life anythings.
Yeah. Well, I don't know which one.
Well, besides, like, Deathmatch or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
But I remember I started playing it, and I was like, I can tell this is good, but I just don't care. Like, it was one of those things.
It's so fucking good.
Like, I was like, I can tell this is good. Like, it feels fine. I'm shooting buzzsaws at people with a gun. That's cool, but I just don't care about this world or anything. And I was like, it's kind of like when I played Resistance.
Yeah.
When Resistance came out, I picked it up from Blockbuster Video. Yeah.
Hey kids, come on down to Blockbuster. Get yourself some Mike and Ike's and grab a video game while you're at it.
I rented that and I think another game. And I tried to play Resistance. I really did. And I didn't care. Like, it was just one of those things, like, I just don't care right now.
Generic,
I was like, yeah, I don't...
kind of how it felt.
Yeah, and...
Gameplay-wise.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I just moved on. I can't remember what it was that I moved back to, but...
Well, 2 points.
It was the same thing with that. Also, Portal was in the box with that, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Fucking Portal was great. But if you didn't play very far and you were shooting buzzsaws at people, then you were probably playing episode 1. Because in Half-Life 2 game proper... It takes a good while before you start shooting.
I only played in the orange box.
It had episodes in it.
Okay.
Yep. So you were at least in one of the episodes, which is not anywhere near as good as the main game, which is fucking amazing. Yeah. Number 2, is that a lot of people, and I have not experienced this because I played it when it was current.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have said that it suffers from the Seinfeld issue, where it's like if you go back and watch Seinfeld, if you hadn't seen Seinfeld and you've watched all the other sitcoms that have come out since, Seinfeld isn't funny because you're like, oh, these are rehashed jokes that I've seen 1,000 times. But it's because everybody stole it from Seinfeld.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so that may be the case where it's like, oh, well, this just feels like a generic, boring shooter because everything else copied it.
Yeah. And that could very well possibly be
Like the first half.
Because like I said, I was playing it and I was like, this is solid. Like, this is, cool. But it was like the enemy types I'm not interested in. Like, this is just, I'm just doing everything again.
Man.
So that's probably what it was.
Those black head crab zombies in Ravenholm, dude. There's these zombies that are covered in head crabs and they chuck them at you. But the black head crabs, if they hit you once, they drop you down to 1 HP. They don't kill you. No matter what HP you were at, they will drop you to 1. And they're almost always surrounded by other shit. And they make this really distinctive, like, clicking, like, screeching thing.
Yeah.
And it's in this dark city that's, like, half on fire. And so you're running around and you just see this...
So
and
it
then
kind
this
of
flicking
turns
thing,
into
and
like
you're
a horror game.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's fucking... There's just so many parts of that game, and then I'm like, this is so amazing, and then I'm like, but this is also... And then there's Euro Truck Simulator. I'm not going to go back on that.
So while we're talking about Call of Duty...
Sorry for the derailment.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, what else are we really going to say? There's another Call of Duty announced. It's Black Ops 3. A lot of people are going to be stoked about that.
There's zombies again.
There's zombies again.
That's there. That exists as a thing.
Yeah.
You can do.
I may pick this one up. Not buy, but I may play this one.
I said the same thing about Advanced Warfare, and I'm not going to trick myself.
I mean, I'll see when
playing
it comes out, but I don't know. I think I've had enough time between Call of Duties. Like, I've passed up on Ghost and Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare is my favorite.
I've been drinking. I already have to make another one.
Yeah,
but I think enough time has gone by that I'm like, oh, I could get back into that. And, like, honestly, like, I would just... Okay, that was weird.
That was really weird.
My ice exploded. Honestly, with, like, the amount of hours that I'm working out and everything like that, I kind of wouldn't mind just, like...
mindlessly shooting things?
Well, no, just running through, like, a Call of Duty campaign that's only, like, 5 or 6 hours long.
Yeah.
And, like, done. I completed it, And it just being over and stuff like that. Because I remember when those games used to come out. I remember when... I can't remember. I think it was, like, Halo 3 and then one of the Call of Duties came out. Like, me and my friend, we were like, all right. And we played through it and we beat it. And we were like, are you serious? Is that it? Like, we beat it in one sitting, and we were like...
I did the same thing with the first Gears of War. I was like, oh, are you serious? That's it?
Yeah.
That's all?
So,
But now it's like, holy shit, I got to actually finish something.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Exactly. It gets pretty pitiful.
Versus with, like, Bloodborne, it's like, okay, I'm just starting to learn the mechanic. Okay, I gotta come back in a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then you come back and you're like, okay, I gotta relearn everything.
On the flip side of that, though, we have games I'm looking forward to coming out, like The Witcher.
Yeah.
So...
I've already told everybody don't talk to me for like a week or two.
Yeah.
After that comes out. I'll still come here, but it's gonna be rough. Like, I'm gonna come here and I'll be like a fucking crack addict that has had their blow taken away. I'll just be like, come on, man, can we just finish, man? I just gotta get back. I just no, I can talk. You wanna talk about The Witcher? I really need to talk about The Witcher just a little bit.
Yeah.
That'll be me. So just a heads up.
I've been
May
interested
19th.
in this game, but now, like, I'm super fucking excited for it. Like, I was interested, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to look too much into it. And, like, I was like, all right, this seems fun, but, like, the world is kind of weird and stuff like that, and in, like, a way that it's like, why are you wearing that, and why are, this kind of, just weird shit, man, basically. And so, but now, like, all the gameplay stuff they've been coming out with, I've been skipping through the cutscenes and just watching the random roaming around stuff, and I'm fucking ecstatic about it now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and what's weird is, like, I see a lot of Red Dead in this game.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I was watching one where they were just roaming around, and I was like, there's a lot from Red Dead in this game. You had the horse, like, whistle
Mm-hmm.
You can like whistle, and your horse will run up, aka it spawns behind the camera or
Yeah.
behind a tree or a hill or something like that.
Stealthy ass
and comes
horse.
out. Yeah, stealth horse. Yeah. But like that, and then just like the random, I'm going along. Oh, this is happening over here. Let me go check out what's happening. Like that kind of thing, in a way that isn't like obvious.
Yeah.
Like my best example, because I've been playing, is like Far Cry 4. Like they kind of like, oh, this is a random thing that's happening where citizens are being attacked by fucking eagles every 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds, they're like an eagle, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm not spending 20 minutes trying to shoot this fucking thing down. It's a fucking eagle. Grow up, live your life, sit under a tree, be an adult.
You're in a marmot.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the
So
birds.
they're always freaking out about that, and then there's like skirmishes where the two factions are fighting, but there are things that pop up on your map, and they're like, bam, this is happening over here. Like they're big event things going on, and it's the same 4 or 5. But then, there was stuff in like Red Dead, for example. You'd be going, and there'd be a girl that would just run up, just like an NPC, and she'd be like, help me, help me.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, what's wrong? And she'd be like, oh, my blah, blah, blah. And then, like, you look at it, and then, like, 6 guys would jump out and try to, like, mug you or whatever, because she was part of it or
Yeah.
something like that. And then just, like, random stuff like that would happen, which,
And then you
granted...
shoot all their feet in Deadeye mode. Or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they'll
exactly.
follow it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was fucked up. I would leave her alive. I would kill all of them as soon, because I got used to that same scenario happening where she'd be like, hell yeah. And I'd be like waiting for him. As soon as I popped up, just headshot. And then I would tie her up and leave her on the train tracks.
I like just dragging them around.
Yeah.
For a while.
Well, I never kill her. I wanted her alive, but I would just like leave her on the train tracks or whatever. But yeah, so stuff like that, I'm really excited about, and I see this a lot with games. I mean, we all do, where we see stuff in previews, and the majority of the game we build in our mind, where we're like, this is how the game's going to be. Oh, it's going to be like this, and they said it's a living, breathing world, so it is. And then you start playing it, and you start seeing the patterns
systems,
and
yeah.
the systems, and you see, why this stuff is happening. But I want to believe. Believe. Like when you see him go in, turning into Griffin Head, he goes into the city and everything like that, and you see people just like doing stuff, and they say, hey, every citizen has like their own like past, their own daily things, their daily hobbies and all that stuff. Like, I really want to believe that and everything. I remember when they said that in San Andreas too, and that was far from the truth. They were like, oh, all the people, like you could follow someone to their house after they got off work or something like that. And it was like, no.
That was one thing about the Elder Scrolls, though, is in Oblivion, they actually did do that. And I remember them talking about how they had the Minotaurs or whatever guarding the unicorn. And how they originally set the Minotaurs to be, like, super aggressive because they wanted them to be really tough and they just attack you out of nowhere and shit.
Yeah.
But they were like, we actually set it too high, so the Minotaurs just killed the unicorn and then, like, went to the nearest town and started raping everybody. It was like, okay, so yeah, they probably do. And, like, you can actually follow people to their house and all that shit. But
oh, yeah, absolutely. And people have their own houses in worlds like that.
That's why I loved that game, because that was one of the first games where, like, everybody actually has their own routine, and then you're like, yeah, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, they actually do.
Yeah, they actually
Sweet,
do.
thank you.
Yeah. Same with, like, Fallout. That's what I was saying. That was that eye-opening game for me. That I was like, oh, the mission structure was what was eye-opening for me. With the whole, like, oh, I need you to go do this, and go talk to this guy, and do this, and he'll give you a quest so that you can get this item. And I'd be like, oh, you mean this item here that I found on my way here? I'm like, yes.
I found my dad by accident.
Yeah. Really?
I was just wandering around, and I was like, oh, what's this? And then I found him. And I was like, oh, shit. I don't think I was supposed to find him yet. But yeah, no, that's. I think that's part of the problem with me for Fallout.
Liam Neeson.
And again, we're way off topic. But I think that's one thing that tainted my my initial viewing of Fallout is that I already had that eye-opening experience of holy shit, this is a real world in Oblivion. Because Oblivion, like, all the other scrolls are notorious for this, but the main quest is not where you actually enjoy the game. It's all the side quests.
Oh, absolutely.
And I remember there was one quest where this lady asked me to like follow this lady because she was like a witch or something like that. And then you actually like talked to the lady, and she was like, "No, this lady's been harassing me. If you do this and sabotage her little guild or whatever, then I'll give you this magical item or whatever." And I was like, I can actually go with either one of these, and it will bring me to a conclusion, and I can pick whatever I want.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And there was just tons of little things like that where I was just like, this deer, I can just kill this deer and get stuff off it, and I can make something from that. And I was just out here wandering around. It's not like I'm trying to go out and or have a quest to go do this, but it was one of those first games for me personally where I had that awe-inspiring thing of like, oh, this is a real world. I can run around and actually do stuff, and I have a house. I have a house,
and
that
you
I can
actually have choices.
Yeah,
with how you handle missions. Like people, like a lot of games, they still do that to this day, where they're like, "Oh, you have decisions where you really don't." I mean, you do, but say it's a game like Infamous, where it's like, okay, hit A to do this or B to do the bad thing. You know? Like that type of thing. Where when you have games like that, The Witcher included, because I've seen some of the dialogue options and trees and stuff like that, and they've been emphasizing that, where like you can have completely different results depending on what you do with these things. Like,
I mean, Witcher 2 had that too.
Yeah,
like I always
absolutely, but it's just crazy that they were talking about like the amount of like side quests. Like you've heard about people. They were talking about like IGN because they played it for like 6 hours or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about, we didn't delve into the main story. We just ran around, and like the map, like you can see like all these little things. They showed them an image of the map with all the like icons up on it, like as if they had found like all the little mission things or whatever. And they were like, it was ridiculous. But all of those aren't like something like in most games, like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed, it's just a collectible. Yeah. Like in The Witcher, it's a like story-driven like side quest where someone's like, "Hey, this is happening. Can you help me?" And it could have a different outcome to it. Like that's insane. And so that's what I'm saying. Like I want to believe that it's going to be like that, and like I'm ready to deal with the fact that I could get into it and I'd be like, "Okay, this lady's like, hey, save me from these wolves." And then I go to this other lady and she's like, "Save me from this mountain beast." And then the other lady's like, "Save me from these wolves." Like, I'm prepared for that to happen. Yeah. But still, it's not like, you know, you can still find enough interesting things to do with that. At least I can, since I role play with that, where I can be like, this bitch is just going to ask me to go kill wolves. I'll deal with it later. And then, like, I'll get a big, like, cool, I don't know, some kind of upgrade or level up or whatever, and then later I'll be like, I feel like just, you know, helping people out, blah, 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 and go back and
save her.
And she'll be like, hey, help me with those wolves, and I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll just do this and just, you know, like instantly, ching, ching, dead type thing. So,
well, the example I always like to use for Witcher, though, is like from Witcher 2 with the troll quest. Like, there's a troll that's not maintaining a bridge and stuff, and I may have mentioned this before, but, like, basically, there's a troll not maintaining a bridge, and you can help the troll out, or you can just kill him. Yeah. And, like, if you help him out, there's this big, long story about why he's not maintaining the bridge, and, like, all this shit, and you can delve into it, and even after that initial point of, like, do I kill him or not, there's still choices beyond that, like, okay, well, his wife got killed by these poachers. Yeah. Or this one poacher, and then you track him down, and he's like, well, actually, I didn't kill her. This one group did. But you can kill that guy. Yeah. And the troll will be satisfied. Or you can actually hunt down the people that actually killed his wife, and you can help them. Yeah. Or you can kill them. Yeah. It's like, there's so many different branches, and that just within that one fucking quest. And then there's a ton of quests like that.
That's a good example of, like, what I was talking about with, like, Fallout. That's a better example of it, really. Because, like, at any point, you can just shoot someone in the fucking face and kill them. Yeah. You know? Like, and
I did that with a cow in Megaton.
But I mean,
everybody was pissed off at me.
But I mean, that could just completely solve the thing, you know? Yeah. Like, if someone's like, hey, go kill this guy, and like you said, you get to them and they're like, wait, it wasn't me. You could be like, well, this person thinks it was, so bang, you're dead. They're going to pay me to kill you. Mm-hmm. That's all I know.
Problem solved.
And you get it. Or you can keep going down that quest line and find out what really happened. So stuff like that, man, that just takes up.
Witcher 2, actually, if you want to know how crazy they got with it in Witcher 2, the second act is entirely different depending on which choice you make. Like, everything is different. Because there's a war going on, and you go to one of the two sides, depending on who you go with.
Yeah.
And then everything completely changes. And there are, like, a ton of quests in there. But, like, the whole center of the game
is it like one of those things where no matter which side you go on, they're going to say, hey, go do this? Like, they'll both send you to the same quest?
Well, basically, the final act is with all of the major leaders of the lands meeting together. So you basically have to go there no matter what, because you're following one way or the other. But, like, everything else is completely different, because you're siding with different factions, different things are happening. So, yeah. I mean, but it massively changes the way the game plays.
Yeah. It's really cool.
So I'm very hopeful based on that they can pull off Witcher 3 and have substantive choices and actually make them matter.
Yeah, I've watched enough of it, and I've steered clear of story stuff. But like I said, just watching, like, roaming around and stuff, which is a lot of what I do, just exploring and fucking, like, being in that world. I just want to be, like, immersed in something. Yeah. Like, I've been watching a lot of that, and I'm like,
I need to make some Oculus Rift support.
Oh,
but we also found out
what
the best thing about Witcher 3.
What?
Sex on unicorns. There's nothing better than sex on unicorns.
We don't know if it's sex on unicorns.
It's gotta be sex on unicorns.
It's at least being teased on a unicorn.
It's at least a cock tease at the very
unicorn.
Least. Her clothes disappear while they are both sitting on the unicorn.
You get a little
horny. Yeah. That was horrible.
Yeah, it was.
Stop taking my job. That's my job.
All right, let's see. Dead Sex, the new Dead Sex game.
What? How are you even getting dead? Oh, God.
Because...
Deus Ex.
No, because when I worked at Big Game Retail Corp...
Major Games Retailer.
Major Games Retailer.
I'm still stuck at Major Games Retailer.
When I worked at a... one of many Major Games retailers, someone came up and they said, hey, y'all got that Dead Sex. And I said, what? About 4 times they repeated themselves until I figured out they were talking about Deus Ex.
Is that kind of like me with That Theft Is?
That Theft Is, yeah.
By the way, for
but they said,
not in the know, That Theft Is Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And someone asking how it is.
Yeah.
Or how much it is. That's how.
How much?
How much is Grand Theft Auto 5 is That Theft Is.
But so every time I see Deus Ex, I think of that now, Dead Sex. They were like, do y'all have that Dead Sex? I was like, okay.
You got that LA Noire?
Yeah. But so, yeah. New Deus Ex.
Yay!
Mankind Divided looks pretty interesting from the trailer. We haven't seen any gameplay though, so I don't really know what to expect from this game.
Did you play the last one?
I did not.
It was really good.
Yeah,
it was actually very, very good.
I'm hearing a lot of that.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It was just one of those games. I can't remember what was going on at the time, but I was playing a lot of other stuff when it came out. I can't remember what I was playing.
My biggest issue with it was set in Detroit and it was clean. And I was like, this is unbelievable.
That's weird. Fuck that game.
Yeah. But everything else was awesome. I was like, there's not nearly enough trash on this street. There were some hookers, though.
But so it looks interesting. They're pitting, like, this rivalry between, like, it seems like full-on humans, quotes, air quotes,
augmented.
Yeah, against augmented and people with cybernetics and stuff like that. And then you're kind of caught in between because obviously the people that are augmented are, you know, you have to villainize them a little bit. So they're kind of, it seems like they're kind of like the X-Men, but if the X-Men were like Magneto's mutants, you know, where they're like, fuck this, we're going to fight back type situation. So you're kind of caught in the middle.
Well, the interesting thing about the last one, though, is like your character was on the side of the augmented people, but it's not by his own choice because he was basically like shot up to the point that he was like put into a coma and was on his deathbed, and then he worked for a company that made augments, and they like resurrected him, and he was like super hyper augmented.
Yeah.
But then, like as you go through the game, you unlock them because he only had his body would like reject them if they turned all of them on at once. So as you play, you had to like choose which ones you wanted to activate and shit like that.
Huh.
But they had some interesting ideas in that. And that was another one. It was one of those interesting games that, like, and this is just a moment that I remember from it. Is right near the beginning of it. You're in a building and they're like, you have to get to a helicopter because there are a bunch of people dying or whatever. And if you just like take the time to look around the environment, you're like, oh, I wonder what's down this hall. Oh, what's in this room? What's in this room?
Yeah.
And I'll go up to the helicopter now and they're like, oh, they're all dead. You took too long. And nobody tells you that. Nobody's like, hey, you really need to get to the chopper. And there's like a timer or something. They're just like, hey, you need to get to the chopper to go help these people. And then you can just let them die by accident.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Because I'm so used to... It's one of those things where, like, when you just understand how video games work,
Yeah,
like a lot of times...
systems that you just expect
you
to
just
happen.
understand. Like, you can look at a door and be like, I know that door doesn't open, and this door I can go in.
Yeah,
like,
this one's colored, and
yeah.
I can tell it moves.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I can tell. Yeah, exactly. So that's one of those things where they're like, oh, you have to go do this. And I'm like, I do, but I know you're not going to initiate that until I cross, like, this
Yeah, you hit
barrier.
that trigger, and then
Yeah,
it
I
goes
hit
on.
the trigger. So I'm going to explore and make sure I found everything in this little area first. So I do kind of appreciate sometimes when stuff like that happens. When
they're
it's like, hey, you have to go do this. And then you're just like, oh, looking under drawers and checking.
That's like in any MMO where they're like, my town is being attacked by wolves. And you're like, okay, yep, accept that quest, accept this other quest, and
Yeah,
pick up
exactly.
pumpkins, accept this other one to
Yeah.
go to the next town over.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later you come back and you're like, okay, dead. Okay, yeah, I saved your town.
Yeah.
Give me my rewards. But yeah, I love that. With like, I love identifying those systems and being like, ha, I understand video games. Because I just imagine somebody who doesn't understand them, like the difference between those two playthroughs.
I think that's really what is the hardest thing, because I look at games a lot of times, and when there are people that I'm like, you know, like, you should check this out, you really enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. I think that's hard for us to kind of see, just because we do play so many games and we're used to it, that it doesn't look the same way to somebody else. Because like, we see things, we know how it works, we know how we can pick up when we start playing a game. We can kind of tell, oh, this AI is going to work like this, blah, 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 versus some AIs work a different way, but you're used to it. Just like the door thing I said, like, you get used to that type of stuff, and you know how the game plays. You know, oh, I'm supposed to go down this corridor. This corridor is going to be one that has, like, a chest in it, and then I have to go back and then go through the main corridor. Like,
This
that
doesn't
type
look
of
like
thing.
normal people would go down it. There's probably a collectible at the end.
Exactly. Like that type of thing. So, like, when I watch people that don't play, a lot of the time, that's why it'll drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, I don't know. Which way do I go? And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know which way to go? There's one hallway. Are you fucking stupid?
Yeah.
So,
Watching people play first-person shooters that don't normally play first-person shooters is probably considered a form of torture in certain countries. Because it's just like,
yeah.
stop looking at the ceiling.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the ceiling.
Next
Look down.
time, like, I'm so belligerently drunk that I'm like, I need to throw up, I'm going to get someone to do that for me. Like, have you ever played a first-person shooter? No. Please play this for a second.
I need to get you to play first-person shooters on PC.
Yeah, it'd probably be the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I'll just turn my mouse sensitivity all the way up and then be like, Adam, play this game. Spinning around.
Rawr, rawr.
That's not a knock on you. That's everybody that plays consoles primarily has issues when they first move over
Yeah.
to the to the master race, to the superior gaming platform.
The old pisses.
The pisses.
The old pisses. What else did we miss, man? I'm trying to think of something.
The Kojima debacle.
Yeah, there's the Kojima thing.
He's just being kicked out by a developer that needs him way more than he needs them.
Yeah, I'm sure most of you guys already know about that. And there's not really, it's all speculation and all hush-hush type stuff right now, but really they've just been pulling Kojima's name off of a lot of stuff, and then there's reports that he's been, like, removed from Konami, and then he's like an outside contractor now just to finish the Metal Gear game. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. But we were talking about it earlier, and it's just such a strange thing because it's like, what else do they have other than Kojima? Like, what do they think they're gonna do?
We have so many amazing titles coming up, like Metal Gear.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Oh, the Nintendo going to mobile.
Was that not in the
we
last
talk about?
episode?
No, I don't think we talked about that. Like that's
Yeah, they're going to
that's a
mobile.
whole new thing. They're going to mobile with a
DNA.
DNA. Yeah.
Which
Or
actually,
Dina.
I heard a thing about them that they were saying that the reason that Nintendo picked them was because they wanted to work with Nintendo so much. Like, they've been wanting to work with Nintendo for a long time. And they said that, Nintendo actually said that they were happy to work with them because they wanted to work specifically with Nintendo, and they weren't asking, hey, can we have Mario? Which is what a lot of people apparently do, where they're like, hey, can we have Mario? Can we have Zelda? Can we have this? Can we have that? But these guys were like, no, we just want to work with Nintendo. We don't care what we're doing. We just want to work with you guys.
Okay.
And so they were, like, that whole company was just huge Nintendo fans. And then Nintendo was like, okay, well, if you're going to... That's the other thing is, like, Nintendo, I think, has a big control issue. Mm-hmm. And I guess they figured if somebody was that interested in working with them, they can probably retain a pretty fair amount of control over what goes on.
So, yeah, if you've been living underneath a boulder...
first of all, sorry for the excruciating pain you must have been in.
Yeah, and congratulations on your Oscar. Yeah, Nintendo...
That was an awesome reference.
Nintendo is... Jesus Christ, man. I gotta make another drink really soon. Hold on.
We may need a drinky break.
No, a drinky break. But yeah, Nintendo is allowing this company... they're going to be making mobile games with Nintendo properties. That's the word I was looking for.
Sorry for that.
I don't know if they're going to be what exactly they're going to be. I don't think we can expect like. What I really wish they would do is like port older stuff, but I don't know if they will. Are you okay? Are you dying?
I got
Are you
bourbon
dead?
up my nose.
Sinus is clean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm awake.
Yeah, you look like it. Shit, man.
I'm okay. Sorry about that. Continue.
Dude, your face is so red.
Woo! Oh, God.
Yeah.
Sorry for everybody's ears.
Snort bourbon, drink cocaine.
Imagine how my nose feels. Gotta love this show. Oh, we're so professional.
Fuck it.
Can you imagine IGN being like, hold on, I got bourbon up my nose? Actually, they probably would do that.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I don't know. What do you think they're going to do with it?
I think releasing some of the classics would be great, but I don't know if Nintendo is willing to do that because they seem really reluctant to release some of their like really old school stuff.
Yeah.
Like Super Mario Brothers, like they just don't want to like they'll do remakes, they'll do remixes type stuff like New Super Mario Brothers. They'll take the idea of it forward, but they don't like letting the old stuff play too much.
Yeah. So what they said when they announced this is like we want to use this as a way for people to fall in love with our characters and stuff like that to move them into like the console, into like, you know, Wii U or 3DS, or move them into a Nintendo system. So I expect it's probably going to be a lot of like mobile type games just with Yoshi on it and, you know, stuff like that, so that...
Which I think actually is brilliant for Nintendo because their market does, or their at least target market does skew really young.
Yeah.
And what do most kids play? On their parents' phones.
Or tablets.
Or their own
stuff,
phones and tablets. But I mean, most of them don't have their systems of their own. Like, if they do, it's because their parents are playing with them or whatever. But if it's on a phone or on a mobile platform of some site, then they can be sitting there while their parents are talking to the adults.
Yeah.
And they can be playing Mario, they can be playing Yoshi, they can be playing Kirby, they can be playing all that stuff.
And then next time they're in the game store, they'll see Mario
Exactly.
on for a new
Or
Wii U game and be like,
yeah. And even when they
Mario.
grow up, they'll bring those ties with them, just like the current batch of Nintendo fans, even as they grow older, remain loyal to Nintendo to some degree.
yeah.
So, I mean, Nintendo does need to find a way to reach the younger generations, and the home console market isn't clearly doing that right now for them.
Yeah.
It's not really reaching anybody for them right now.
No, that's true. Oh, well, I mean, that's another thing. They announced that they're working on another console, pretty much.
Because
which
that's
is
a good
crazy.
idea.
The NX. Well, to be fair, everyone is right now.
Yeah.
Like, let's be realistic. Sony is they're already got plans in the works for the PS5. Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, I
Like-
mean, they have to.
yeah, everybody is. But the fact that Nintendo said something about this means that it's probably not that far off.
Probably, and I
Like
think...
a couple years at most.
And I think, honestly, that they run the risk of killing off their old system by announcing that they already have another one in the works, because basically people are going to be like, oh, so you're not going to support my Wii U that I just bought? But, on the other hand, people aren't buying Wii U, so it's not really like they're alienating a huge base anyway.
And that's the thing I was going to say, though. Like, me and you have both worked in that retail space.
Oh, yeah.
How many people that are buying that Wii U even know that Nintendo said that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, how
Like,
many people actually
maybe,
know
like,
that Wii U is a different console?
That's true. That's true.
It's a very niche audience right there.
But I don't think the majority of the people that are getting the Wii U, I don't think they're the type of people that have even caught wind of this.
Yeah, there are those few hardcore Nintendo fans,
there's
but-
absolutely like everything else, but I think the majority, not so much.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
Um,
I still stand by the fact I think Nintendo should just approach Microsoft.
But-
Microsoft has a fuck ton of money, and just be like, hey, we'll go software and we'll just put our stuff on your hardware.
no,
Because
that's not gonna
Microsoft,
happen.
it's not going to happen, but I think that's what they should do. Nintendo wants control, so they are not going to do that. But I think that would be in their best interest, because Microsoft would pay out the ass to have exclusive rights to... Can you imagine that in a world where Microsoft has exclusive rights to all of Nintendo's properties? They would crush Sony with that
Sounds
kind
like
of
a
shit.
weird.
It sounds weird, but
So weird.
it sounds
I can't.
so much better if Sony had it, but they will never do it because Nintendo and Sony hate each other. But it would sound much better if they had it. But either one of those companies would pay out the ass to have exclusive rights to Nintendo properties, in addition to their current lineup.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much dominance that would give them? Either one of them?
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I can't. I don't know. I can't picture a world without Nintendo in the
Yeah.
hardware space. Even though, see, here's the thing though, is what they're doing right. God, this is turning into a fucking Nintendo tangent again. But what they're doing right is they're not trying to compete.
Yeah, no, that
Like
definitely
they're
is
not
their-
trying. They're
the
doing
strength.
new things, and that's something they said about this. The NX, the new system that they're saying they're working on. They said it's going to be a new thing that we've never seen before. So they've innovated with their last couple of systems. Like, granted, the Wii U was kind of, just it was the same kind of innovation that they did with the Wii, but with a little bit different. But then even before that, like, they've done stuff with the GameCube and the 64 and stuff like that. But so I think their thing from here on out is just gonna kind of be like that innovation, that something new thing. Like, whether or not this is gonna be a fucking VR only console or like something crazy like that, who knows?
Well, one thing
But-
I think they really need to do is focus. Like, if you look at how many controllers, just on the controller side, those two systems have, the Wii and the Wii U, it's like, can you guys make up your mind what you want these consoles to be? It's like, oh, well, you can have the classic controller, or you can use the Wiimote, or you can have the Wiimote with the nunchuck, or you can have the Pro controller, or the GameCube controller, or the fucking tablet,
Well, I
or you
think-
can have all these other things. Like,
I think a
guys,
lot of
come
that
on.
is just because they have a backlog.
They-
Like, you can actually play old Nintendo games on this system, so I think that's why they allow you to use those.
True.
Because it's something similar. Like,
But there's no N64.
the classic one is like the Super Nintendo controller, and
That's why Sony's strategy is brilliant. Just, hey, we have a controller that works. Let's just keep doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating because it feels like all of their business aspects are like that, where they're kind of like, hey, we need a new console, so we'll add a tablet because tablets are popular, but we still want the motion controls. Hey, what about those Skylanders things? Those seem popular. We'll make our version of that. Granted, that's paying off like crazy, but
Yeah, holy shit.
I think they've easily outsold Amiibos versus actual consoles that the Amiibos are connected to.
Probably, yeah.
But I mean, it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, what do you guys want to do? You're all over the place. Nobody can say, oh, well, the Wii U is a console that has a controller, and it has a touchscreen, and it has a, game focus. It's like, well, they're focused on games, but they also want these figurines. Plus, I can use this controller. But if I have other people, they can't use that controller. So we have to get these other types of controllers, which are completely different. So if I want to play with my friends, we all have to play these controllers. But then if they want to substitute this controller, they can. It's like... And then even with the GameCube controllers, they couldn't focus. It's like, oh, well, you have some GameCube controllers that can plug into the system. But then other ones that plug into these other controllers.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, Nintendo, just make up your mind. What do you want to do? Like, I get the back catalog, I get it. But you can adapt those.
Yeah.
There's fucking GameCube emulators on the PC, so I know it can be done. You can make it work with a control scheme. But, yeah. And Nintendo Tangent, I'm sorry. Unless you want to say one last thing or whatever. I don't necessarily have to have the last word, but that was a long
No, I mean,
tangent.
I do agree with you. Like you said, they just need to focus on one thing. And right now, they really need to focus on just having a reason to buy one of their...
That's true.
Like, some of their hardware. Like, the 3DS is fine.
Oh, wait.
Like, more than fine.
Even that, though, it's like, you can get the 3DS. Or the 3DS XL. Or the 2DS. Or the new 3DS.
Or the new yeah.
Or the new 3DS XL. Well, if you're not in the U.S.
Yeah.
That is, working at major game retailer, that is the worst thing ever. Hey, my kid wants a DS. Okay, does he want a DS? Does he want a DS Lite? Does he want a DSi? Does he want a DSi XL?
Yeah.
Does he want a 3DS? Does he want a 2DS? Does he want a 3DS XL? Does he want a new 3DS XL? I don't know. He wants to play the DS games. I know! Oh my god. Which specific game?
Yeah.
Let me help you.
I saw someone post on like Reddit the other day. They posted a picture of I can't remember, Dragon Age Inquisition. So like, I told my mom to give me Dragon Age Inquisition for my PlayStation, and they had a picture of a PS4 copy sitting on top of a PS3. Mm-hmm. And I guess to be like, oh, thanks, Mom. I'm like, well, you're an asshole because you didn't tell her which one. First of all, she went in there and said, oh, I want this for PlayStation. Like, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be more specific. Like, granted, I completely understand, is what I'm saying. Like, parents and stuff like that come in.
Yeah.
This shit's way out of control now. Because, like, if you don't, people will come in and be like, my son said get an Xbox 360. And
Which
I'm like,
one?
all right, do you want a 4 gig? Because I'm not going to sell you one because it's stupid. Do you want that, or I have a 320 gig, or I have one without an external hard drive? And
Do you want one of the old models that
yeah.
use the external, or do you want one of the new ones that uses the internal, which are more expensive? That's why I want.
But they're also not as faulty, and they have built-in Wi-Fi, and like it's.
But don't get the newest one because that one won't work with any of the accessories apparently.
Yeah, and then they look at you and they're like, "They just said get a 360."
I just want to play their Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, which Call of Duty? Because one of them requires a hard drive.
Yeah. Oh man.
I actually, and it's even getting worse now because they're splitting the release date. So I had somebody come in today, and they were super excited because they were like, "Man, I'm going to be here for the midnight launch of that Mortal Kombat. I'm so excited!" And I was like, "Sweet man, what system do you have it for?" He's like, "I'm going to get it for the 360." I was like, "Bad news, you're going to have to wait a couple months." And he's like, "What? Isn't it coming out Tuesday?" I was like, "Yes, for PS4 and Xbox One, not 360 and PS3." And he's like,
man,
"Man,
really?"
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, especially parents that are like, my kid wants Mortal Kombat X, and I'm like, that's great. He's gonna have to wait.
Well, first of all,
because
you
don't
should
wanna
be
shell
like,
out
how
money.
old is your fucking kid?
Yeah, that's true.
Because
Well,
they're ripping fucking bowels out of people's asshole. In this
I had
game.
to sell a 5-year-old Grand Theft Auto 5 last week. That was
Really?
And the parent fully understood what was in there. I was like, you realize this has functional strip clubs and you can, like, have first-person sex. And they're like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. As long as you don't do it in real life, he cool. And I'm not stereotyping everybody in this neighborhood sounds like that, so I don't think that that's a racial stereotype. It's just a fucking class stereotype or whatever. But it's like, come on, man. You're really going to make me selling this to a kindergartner right now?
Yeah.
Apparently. I'm like, I can't stop you. You're a grown-ass adult. You can make that decision for your kid, but whatever.
Oh, shit. That's the other thing I was thinking about. I remembered it, and then I forgot it, and then I just remembered it again.
Yeah, it's because you haven't had a drink in like 10 seconds.
Ah, that's right. I'm going to have to make one.
Stop with the high-functioning mental capacity. I don't like this.
I'm going to have to think of a question that takes you a long time to answer so I can go make a drink. Chad, talk about Nintendo.
I've gotten Euro Truck Simulator.
Ah, fuck no, man.
So I was on my way to Berlin.
Shut the
London.
fuck up! Star Wars Battlefront. They're going to be showing that off at Star Wars Celebration. Like, people are going to get to play that.
Yeah, they are.
I'm pretty excited about that.
See, my problem is I didn't like the original.
Really?
I didn't like it at all.
But do you think this is going to be like some? Well, I don't know. This may not be up your alley.
I just love it when other people are really excited for games, and I could not care less.
I don't know why. I don't know.
I love Battlefield. I don't like Battlefront. I don't know why.
Do you think that? I mean, they're probably going to implement. All right. Hopefully, they're going to implement some of the good things from Battlefield into this.
One would assume,
but not the bad things. A lot of people are asking for from like ground to space combat.
that would be amazing.
Like you can.
That would get me excited for Battlefield.
Yeah, like people were talking about like indoor and stuff like that, and like being able to fly up off the planet and stuff like that would be cool. Like imagine like you're having like a skirmish and you have to take control of the ground or whatever, and then you get in the ground base and then you get in and you fly up to like blow up the Death Star or something like that.
I think it'd be great, like have a battle like where say there's like a shield generator on the ground.
exactly.
And you have to like shut that off, and then you can fly up and attack the like Star Destroyer that's floating above the planet or something like that. Yeah, that'd be something like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Have like, and while you're going up, have like dogfights all the way up to the ship. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be awesome.
If that happens, I will be excited.
But like, see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many possibilities with this. Like,
There's so many possibilities.
So many possibilities. But yeah, like it's. And I don't want to stereotype.
Meat the sauce.
Not all famous video game characters sound that way. Just that one particular.
You don't want to stereotype, but it's just this one type of people that sound that way.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited for it. I was listening to something else earlier. I can't remember which one now, so forgive me. But they were talking about like we really haven't had a great Star Wars game in a long time.
Force Unleashed was alright.
Well, see, that's how I feel. Like I like Force Unleashed a lot. Like I understand what was wrong with it, and I'm like, this isn't the greatest thing ever. But I still really love that game. I don't know why. Like I thought it was really cool. I wish they would make another one that had the amount of attention and like detail and gave them all the resources they needed to like make that game as awesome as possible. Because like if they could do that game on like a level of what we expected 1313 to be, like I feel like that would be awesome. Like the second one, the story was garbage, but it was still fun.
Yeah, I think they did fun well. They just didn't.
Yeah.
But like if you look at the quality of Force Unleashed versus like most movie cash-ins or whatever, it definitely it was like this is a real video game. This is not just something we shat out to try and make some money off a title.
But it was a cool concept and story, and it was supposed to be canon. I don't know if it still is now since Disney did away with it.
I think they did say that was.
That one still is canon?
I think so. Yeah. Don't quote me on it, but I think they said those were.
But I don't know, because like, I feel like that would be a really cool... Anyway, but yeah, I agree with you that I think that was a good one. And
then there's KOTOR that everybody loves.
Yeah, everybody loves KOTOR. You don't like KOTOR either?
I like the story. but it's BioWare, and I have a lot of.
Oh,
problems
you don't
with it.
like the go attack, watch my guy attack gameplay?
Yeah, I can't.
I never got into that either.
Again, I love Neverwinter. I love the idea of Neverwinter.
Yeah.
I have so much trouble playing it.
Huh.
Like, I really, really, really want to like BioWare RPGs because I love the idea of all of them, but the combat just kills it. I
Yeah.
just grit my teeth every time it
Yeah.
starts. I fight my way through it. Like, Mass Effect probably was the easiest one for me to get through because for some reason I really liked that story, but that combat, man, oh man.
You didn't like the combat in Mass Effect either?
Nope.
Really?
Well, Mass Effect 1, I haven't played 2. Everybody says I would probably be more inclined to like 2.
Oh, yeah. 2 is more of a shooter.
Okay.
2 is the most like a shooter. 2 is
Okay.
more Gears of War.
I'm gonna have to get a shot. And everybody has said that I will probably like the Inquisition combat more than most other BioWare.
Yeah, I've heard that with everyone.
But man, oh man,
Yeah.
it's rough.
Well, see,
for
the
me to
first
get through
Mass
those.
Effect was still my favorite.
Yeah.
So if that tells you anything about games that I
Also,
like,
I'll
the
love it.
first one,
I'll
yeah,
love the second one,
you'll
yeah.
love the second one then. So,
The first Assassin's Creed is amazing.
it is. You watch your goddamn mouth.
It's an opinion. It's an opinion. You're entitled to it. It's just wrong.
I like the RPG elements of the first Mass Effect better. I like that, and I also like the planetary exploration in terms of like you could land on a
love driving
planet.
around.
Yeah, but everyone hated the fucking Mako and everything, so they got rid of it.
Oh, I love the makeup.
Yeah, well, it's not in any of the other games because everyone bitched about it.
Okay, so my Mass Effect 1 will be my Mako simulator, and then everything else will be the actual
Yeah.
Mass Effect proper.
And that's what I'm saying. Everything else is like a shooter. The first Mass Effect, they give you more RPG stuff where they're like, if you want to do this, you can upgrade it this way. If you want this armor and this armor and this armor, you can do that. Mass Effect 2 is literally like a hit X to upgrade.
yeah.
Like there's no choices. It's just like hit X to upgrade this.
I think, and I've had this thought in my mind for a while, but I'm trying to form it more robustly. But I think one of my issues with BioWare RPGs is that you're always in a party. So you're always doing stuff with other people, and they let you switch between your party members.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of kills the role playing in my mind. I know this sounds stupid. I am
No,
fully
that makes
aware.
sense. That makes
but
sense.
like being able to flip between it, I don't feel like I am my main character.
Yeah.
And when I'm in a role-playing game where I'm making decisions, especially when I'm making decisions as it relates to inter-party member relationships, when I can just flip over and be Liara or whoever, it kind of is like, well, who
you
am
don't-
I really?
You can't do that in Mass Effect now.
Well, you can tell them to attack though.
Yeah, but you can just be, well, you're fucking
Yeah.
Commander Shepard.
Well,
you're
but
commanding them.
But
to
being able to actually, like, basically, like, in gameplay sense, basically being able to play as them vicariously by being like, hey, cast this here, and being able to do it, like, on point instead of, like, actually turning and saying, hey, you need to do this. For some reason, in my brain, I understand it doesn't make sense. I
It
understand.
really doesn't.
I totally get that.
Okay.
But, like, and especially, in Dragon Age, it's really hard for me, because in Dragon
Okay.
Age, you really do switch.
So you
between
need to
partners.
play Mass Effect with the Kinect so that you can just be like, Liara, stasis.
Probably. That would probably, honestly...
And then that would make more sense than you. Because
Probably.
that's what hitting the button and then selecting stasis on an enemy is them interpreting you doing.
Yeah, no,
It's saying,
I
hey,
totally get
do
that.
this here.
But to me, it just feels like I'm casting that spell, and so it doesn't feel like my main character matters hardly at all. And I really don't feel like I am my main character,
That makes
especially
no
in Dragon
sense.
Age.
That makes no fucking
No,
sense. to me.
and I mean, in Mass Effect, maybe that's what helped me in Mass Effect is that I'm not physically changing characters,
Yeah.
so it doesn't make it as bad for me. Because in Dragon Age, it really fucked with my head,
Yeah.
where I'm like, I'm not even really playing my main character. It's just the character that I happen to follow
Yeah.
while I'm going to the next
You're
bit
just
of
doing like
combat.
a god simulator,
Yeah.
switching in between.
And Dragon Age, I also played on PC on a more difficulty where you actually, like, every attack, you pause, and then it tell everybody what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Unpause, pause, tell everybody. And it's like, it might as well be fucking turn-based.
Yeah.
But, yeah, sorry for that. Again, Battlefront.
Fuck, man.
My brain doesn't work.
No. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Like I said, hopefully this is a fucking awesome, polished thing. I'm really bummed out about 1313 not coming out as soon as they were like, yep, fuck it, we're not doing it. I was pretty upset about it. But, I mean, if this turns out good, then I'm fine with it. But
I want to be excited for it. It's just I wasn't really into the first two Battlefronts or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to get excited about something that I don't really like the lineage of it.
yeah, that's true. Well, we'll see. They're supposed to be playing it for too long. So.
Come on, EA. Well, that's the other thing though.
You have no faith in EA?
Well, I mean, they've released so many quality products recently.
Dude, they do a fantastic job upgrading the graphics on the grass every year for Madden.
That's true. And that Battlefield launch, the Battlefield
grass
4
is
launch, could not have been smoother.
Have you played Hardline?
I have not played Hardline.
I mean,
I've heard okay things about it. Like a lot of people
same
were
here.
really down on it before it came out, and then they're like,
well,
it's actually
I
pretty
played
good.
I can't remember. I played the alpha and then the beta, maybe. I can't remember. I played the first beta that happened in the fall before it got delayed. I think I played that, and it crashed on me like twice. I want to say
Unplayable.
yeah. Oh no! That was the Battlefield 4 beta that crashed on me twice. The Hardline beta I remember playing, and I was like, it just kind of feels like Battlefield, except I can drive a regular car instead of anything else.
Maybe that's why it worked so well, is because they're like, we're not really doing much new. It's like that's what everybody was saying before it came out. It was like, it's basically a mod for Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
So maybe
but it works.
Yeah, maybe that's why it works, is because they didn't really try and overhaul anything.
Yeah.
Which, hey, I mean, that's what you have to do, I guess. It made money.
Yeah.
People like it.
Pretty.
As long as it's functioning.
I kind of want to get back into that thing, which is another reason I'm excited to get back into Star Wars.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I've been kind of looking for that thing, and that merges perfectly. Thanks. I don't know when it's going to come out, but we'll see.
I wonder how much lens flare is going to be in Battlefront.
I don't think they'll do that.
Well, I mean, J.J. Abrams is in charge right now. So
Yeah.
maybe he's got a little sway.
God, what a
on
combination, man.
Yeah, I
The
know.
J.J. Abrams and, like, the Battlefield style, like, orange lens flare.
And it's just, well, you have to have the orange from one side. And then
Quadruple lens flare. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be a fucking light show. Somebody, God forbid, anybody fire off a laser. I'm blind! Every shot's a flashbang.
So, have you been playing anything recently?
Bloodborne. Getting my ass handed to me by the fucking Bloodstar beast or whatever.
I'm still not that far. You said that's in the cathedral?
Yeah, it's a little past, like, where it's in Old Yarnum. Which I'm not
I'm
very
not there
far
yet.
for how long I've been, like, for how long it's been out, but I just haven't been playing it solid
Yeah.
very often because my manager.
Well, you're farther than me then.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Little
just
bit.
in the cathedral.
Yeah, I got past the chain gun dude and on the Bloodstar beast. But
So what do you think about it so far?
I really like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot better than I liked Dark Souls. I didn't play much of Dark Souls 2, but I also made the mistake of playing Dark Souls on PC, so that didn't help. Don't play it on PC.
Why?
Here's an example of how much they thought about the PC version. The ability, like the weapon switch ability, is on the insert key. I don't know that many people could even identify where the insert key is on a keyboard.
What?
Yeah.
What? So you have to...
Why is it on the fucking insert key?
You can't change it? sure you
Not that
could
I've been able
change
to
it.
find. No.
I'm sure you can.
It's just horrible.
That's still a ridiculous place.
Yeah, it's just really, really bad.
See, From Software can get away with shit like that, though, because when they do stuff like that, people think, oh, they're just being assholes and make it more difficult, you know?
Well, no, I mean, for Dark Souls 2, they were like, no, really, guys, we really did think about the PC version this time.
Yeah.
And then it was fucked again.
Yeah.
And they were just like, really, guys? And, like, it doesn't run well.
Oh, okay.
All of the controls are just totally borked. And Bjorked. Yeah, they're Bjorked. That's way better. Watch one of her videos. That's how it feels to play Dark Souls. Why does this cat have a suit on?
Yeah, I've been playing it, too. I'm pretty stoked about it. I didn't go through the thing I thought I was going to go through with the, this isn't for me, blah, 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 and then having to power through and discovering it. Like, I've been pretty dead set on it since I started.
It's pretty fast paced for a Soul style game.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, like I was saying earlier, I think it's because like there are some deaths and sometimes when I get hit when I feel like they're not my fault, but the majority of the things I feel like it's my fault that I'm in that situation. Like there's sometimes like I'll hit to evade and like I won't, but it's probably because I'm not done with my animation or something like that. You know?
I think that's really fair for Souls stuff. Is like as long as it feels fair, it doesn't matter how hard it is. As long as it feels.
And
like
that's why I was saying
regular
earlier.
rules.
Like I don't think the game is hard in terms of the gameplay or it being difficult in terms of like, oh fuck, this is really hard. My timing has to be perfect. Blah blah. Blah. I think it's more of like the patience of the player, like understanding that okay, I just wait this out. Let me attack this guy, back off, let him hit, let me attack again while he's got his back turned or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
So, I think that's the big thing with it. That the reason that I haven't like thrown a controller at the screen yet. That being said, I'm not very far into it.
Yeah.
So.
I do like that it rewards aggression though. Like a lot of the mechanics really reward you for not just staying back all the time. Like Dark Souls, it was like, oh, I'm gonna block, and block. Whereas this one's like, oh, I got hit. Well, I need to go hit something really quick, and I can get my HP back.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, I need to stun this thing. I need to be right up in its fucking face to stun it and get that execution.
Yeah, and you see that. I think I saw that the most with that first fight with the. I guess it's really the first boss battle that you have to do with the. What's his name?
The werewolf dude. Yeah,
that guy, Father or whatever, starts with a G or something like that.
I remember.
But that first fight with him, because he's I'm assuming he was a hunter or something like that, because he has the same moveset you do. He has, the weapons and stuff like that. So he moves really fast. He's constantly, doing evade, moving all over the map. And so then when you start doing it, it's like a fucking episode of Dragon Ball Z where you're both just like choo 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 choo.
That one was really tough too, because it's like I want to dodge, but there's fucking graves everywhere, and I got
exactly.
The right way,
and you just hit into
myself.
Them. But I think that was when I really saw like, okay, like it's fine just moving all over the place, attack, get the fuck back, move, attack,
get the fuck back. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so, but I don't know. Instead of what I was doing before, which was kind of like I'd go up, I'd be like, "Hey, you see me?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I see you. I'm about to fuck you up." And I'd be like, "All right, you see me? I'm about to slowly walk back." And they'd be like, "You slowly walk back. I'm coming for you. Whatever, I'm coming for you." And I'd be like, "All right, here we go. Let's do this. Where's your swing animation? There it is. Let me dodge. Attack. All right, let me watch out. Hey, what's up? I just hit you." And they're like, "Yeah, you just fucking hit me, but I'm about to fuck you up more." And I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna walk back. And then they swing, and I dodge, and then I'd hit them again. So it was just
I was just waiting to see where this was going.
Yeah, that's where it went.
And then one random guy sitting on top of a fucking carriage shoots you right as you're attacking.
Yeah, or some guy that was hidden behind, like in a little cubby hole that you walk past, comes out and smashes you. So
there's that.
So there is that.
Yeah. No, and like I said, the whole like stunning thing, that becomes like pretty vital for some bosses, and that's where one of those things where it's like it's about to attack you, and you have to be in that attack. Yeah. Like you have to purposely run up as it's attacking you and be like, "Yep, hit me, motherfucker."
Yeah.
And then you can hit.
Yep.
But like, man.
But getting the timing of that, like that's what I'm trying to do now. But a lot of times I just end up getting hit because either it's an attack that they won't get staggered with when I shoot them, or maybe I'm just not timing it right or something like that. So, and then like I said, it seems like you have to be a certain distance. You have to be close enough to do that like execution style thing. So a lot of times I will get them down. I'll shoot them and they'll like stagger or go down to their knees or whatever. And then when I go to do it, it's just like a regular attack. So,
and I don't know about you, but I feel like it's a lot more generous with the items to kind of compensate for the fact that it is really tough to get some of that stuff.
So far with me, yeah. Like, if I go to the first area where there's, all the guys burning the werewolf or whatever, like, I get bullets like crazy through there.
Oh, yeah.
And
never
then,
run out of bullets.
Yeah, there's another area that I was in, and I just had so many, I can't remember what they're called, but the health potions pretty much. Like, I just had to keep using them because I constantly was maxed out. So, like, even if I was missing, like, a little bit of health, I was like, I'm going to use it because I'm about to pick one up off this enemy.
Or
2 or 3 or something like that. So, yeah, I always have that. So, when I go into boss fights, I have, like, 20 of them. So, like, I'm constantly just, like, attacking, then getting back and healing. And
which I remember in Demon Souls, that sucked because you had, like, the little green herbs that didn't have heal for shit. But that was all you had. You only had 2 of them. And then you get hit really hard, and you're like, fuck, do I even use these? Am I going to be able to get him down this time, or should I just die so I don't waste these and then actually get in a good attempt with the 2 twin little sprigs that I have left? Because on your way back to the boss, you're going to get, like, 1.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fuck this shit. Guess I'm just farming herbs for a while.
Yeah.
So I like Bloodborne in the fact that it keeps you going, and you're not like, oh god, I can farm this shit again. Granted, you do a little bit with the Blood Echoes, but it's like fast farming. Like you aren't just kind of grinding out that same.
And I can absolutely see like people's complaints with like stuff like that with like you're doing the same thing over and over, because I did reach that point where I was like, I would like keep dying at a certain spot or something like that, and I was like, fuck, I have to go through, these guys are always staying in the same spot, I gotta kill this guy now, alright, let me go out, let me kill this guy now. But again, it's one of those things that like when you try to run through it and stuff like that, you're gonna get punished for it. So like if you really want to get through this, just fucking take your time, don't let these guys that you know are going to be there take half your health away because you're trying to run through them and kill them really quick. And then by the time you get where you want to be, like, you die in, like, 2 hits. So, but, I mean, I can really understand what people are talking about with that. They're just like, fuck, I die, and I play the same part over and over and over.
Although I do really like the tension of, like, when you've been out for a while and you're kind of pretty far away from a lantern.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you've got, like, a couple thousand echoes sitting on you.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, do I just run back?
Yeah.
What am I trying to do?
I need to go back.
Yeah.
But there could be a lantern right around this corner.
Or I may just open this gate and bam, there's the one I just came from. Like, you're like,
yeah.
Do I keep going?
Yeah.
Do I keep going?
Yeah. Or you don't know, because you could open that gate and a fucking beast will fall from the sky.
Exactly. I always hate it because I always get to that point where I'm like, oh, I should probably turn back. I should probably really turn back. And then you look around the next corner and there's something big down there. Yeah. And you're like, do I try?
Yeah. He's like, I've beaten one of those before. Yeah. I know I can.
Dude, there's... Oh, man, the one right before the Gatling gun, there's like this dude who's like another hunter.
Yeah.
Again. And I was like, I know I can get through this Gatling gun part. I know I can do it.
Yeah.
But I've got a lot of echoes that I'm sitting on right now. And that guy's moving pretty fucking fast. Like, because you can see him from a distance a little bit. I'm like, do I take him? I don't know. I'm gonna go for it. And then you go and you just like fucking die right away. And you're like, oh shit, no. And then you get back to it and it's like, my blood echoes, they're all just sitting right there.
Yeah.
Can I make it up the stairs fast enough? And it's like, man, I danced with that guy for like half an hour. Well, not half an hour, but it was a good, like, it probably took about half an hour with the runs back included. But I was doing the do-si-do with that guy, like, woo. Because every time, it was a good run from the lantern too. So, yeah, I just love the pacing. And the level design is really good, too. Because you don't ever...
Yeah.
Like, I get lost in where I am, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool looking. Wait, where the fuck am I? Am I about back to my lantern? I don't even know.
But it's also, it's also not really that big.
No, it's not.
At all. But it's just... It's one of those things where, you can get...
And then a fucking werewolf jumps out from behind you.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, oh.
All the guys that they hide behind corners can, fucking die. Like,
yeah.
Every time I'm walking in the shit where, they'll put a guy behind a corner so that you just walk a straight line past them, and then he's behind you, and you never fucking knew it.
I'll tell you what, it's. I don't want to say it's a scary game, but it definitely has its creepy elements.
Oh yeah,
Like when
yeah.
you see those werewolves walking around, because they're not like normal fucking wolves.
yeah,
They got to be all hunched over and move really awkwardly, and like
yeah, with like their rib cages ripped open.
yeah, and like in Old Yarnum, they're like walking the streets. You just see them walking up and down with that really weird gait they have, and
Yeah.
you're just like, God, this is fucking unnerving. Just
Yeah.
watching these guys move, especially knowing that they can rip my throat out
Yeah.
if I do something wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm
I really
really
like
enjoying it so far. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm-
pretty good. But I mean, again, it's one of those things that it's weird because I can't place like oh, this is doing this so fucking well type situation because there's nothing really new that it's doing. It's just
I think part of it is the fact that they don't really doing any one thing particular. It's that they took what they did with Dark Souls and Demon Souls and they polished it. Which
Yeah.
I always felt like they weren't really polished games. I felt like they were difficult games, and I felt like they were well-tuned games. But I don't feel like everything was really polished.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bloodborne is really polished.
well, I never played any of those Souls games before, so
Yeah, I mean, like
it's my first foray.
Dark Souls 2, like just everything was kind of slidey. Like everything kind of just slid across the ground a little bit. Nothing felt really anchored to the ground.
Yeah.
And it was sort of approximate. Dark Souls 1 was less approximate. Like everything did feel pretty anchored. But at the same time, the controls were a little bit muddy. And so it was like trying to fight it too. Like fighting the systems that you were playing with as well as the systems of the game. Which kind of made it feel weird. Demon Souls, same issue. The controls weren't as precise. It was one of those things where it's like, it's hard to say, well, this one thing needed fixing. It was like everything just feels okay.
Yeah.
And Bloodborne feels like they really played it and played it and played it and tightened everything up
Yeah.
to be really solid.
No. Other than the fact that people don't move their mouse when they talk to you.
That is the case. No, well, we agreed. They're telepathically speaking to you.
Yeah. All speaking telepathy.
Well, I mean, if you were speaking,
Well,
then
it's all a
everything
dream anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, if they were actually speaking to you, everything would hear you, and then they would come running.
that's true.
So they have to. Do
There
it
you go.
telepathically.
Logic.
Bam.
But yeah, the world is pretty cool in that. For it being linear, stuff like that.
It's linear but explorative.
Segue off of that, what is your, like I was saying before, what's your favorite, like, gaming, I guess, like, environment,
Right.
like, world or era, or, like, any of those things? Like, what type of place do you most like for video games to take place in?
Mine's probably like that sort of middle age sort of era, but like where you can actually like explore and stuff. So there's forests and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of the whole, like a lot of people like when fantasy sort of crosses over with steampunk. I'm not a big fan of that. I like
Don't like the Dwemer?
Right. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff. Like, I really like when people go hardcore, like, just historical. Like, Witcher, a lot of the stuff feels very grounded. Like, they're not trying to be fantastical about their armor. There's not big spikes and big flowy things. Like, I like that kind of stuff, too, to some extent. But I like how Witcher feels like people actually live in this world.
Yeah.
And it's not just Witcher. There's other places, like Skyrim, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, especially early on, feels like, okay, everybody is, like, these are all real people living in this area. Later on, you get kind of crazy looking armor, like with Daedric stuff.
Yeah.
But I like that beginning of, like, well, this feels like a place that could really happen.
Yeah.
Because then I can actually feel more put myself in that
Yeah.
world. And then you have little tweaks that make it cool, like the use of magic and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine would probably be around that. Some kind of like fantasy, but not too far overboard. Because I think that's what kills me with a lot of like fantasy games. And maybe it's just because it's so overdone. Like I'm invested into the Elder Scrolls type stuff, so that anytime there's another thing, then I'm like, oh, okay, I have to learn why this group of elves in this game don't like whatever, or, you know, because there's always the same thing. There's orcs and elves, and it's the same, you know, Tolkien-esque stuff always. But I think that does open up a lot just because, and I think it's always because there's, the majority of the time they're open, they're large areas, there's a lot to explore, and because they are like semi-magical and stuff like that, there is this air of like mystery and like, what's in this dungeon, what's in this cave, blah blah blah. It could be something that gives me the spell that I can do this with, or you know, like you never really know what you're gonna find type situation. Like I do like modern day open world stuff too, but that's more of a, well, I guess it's the same thing. Well, I was going to say it's more of a let me experience something I can't do in my regular day, like do fucking 190 miles an hour through an intersection. But I guess the fantasy element is the same thing. It's let me experience something I couldn't do. But
I always feel like modern day stuff like Grand Theft Auto and all that stuff, I don't know why, but there is something different about it when it's like, oh, well, I can just get from over here to over there with a car or whatever, where it's like, I feel like there's a lot more attention to what's immediately happening around you when you're in a fantasy environment because you don't have that extra, like, super fast mobility. So, like, when you can only walk or maybe get on horseback, it changes your perspective of the world. Whereas, like, in Watch Dogs, if I just hop on a motorcycle, I'm just whizzing past stuff. And, like, it all seems less consequential in regards to what's immediately happening around me. Because I know I can just fucking shoot off and get away.
yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I also feel like there's a little bit more variety. Like, within Chicago, everything's kind of going to look like it's fucking in Chicago.
But what about, like, sci-fi type stuff? Like a space type thing?
I do like sci-fi stuff, but I also play stuff like EO Online, which definitely does not feel small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you like to drive from this planet to the moon?
Yeah.
Okay, be prepared to have a multi-day trip, unless you're going to use your warp drive.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really experienced something like that in the sense of like a sci-fi space sim that was that big and open.
That's why I'm excited about the stuff that's coming out, like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen and all that stuff. It's all like there's big in like Watch Dogs terms or Grand Theft Auto terms, and then there's big in like Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous and all that. Like Elite Dangerous is the fucking Milky Way. Like that's fucking big.
Yeah.
That's really big.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I don't know. That would probably be my favorite genre type era, whatever, to experience. Yeah. I would imagine, as long as it's like done right, because you can do everything with that. Like if you want anything, you can have it, because any of these planets can have anything on it.
Oh man, Sky.
Yeah. But I mean, you can, well, even more so than that. Well, we don't really know exactly what's going to be going on in that game, but even to the extent of like, oh, I really liked Red Dead Redemption, blah, blah, blah. I like that. Oh, well, here's this planet that's nothing but desert. The citizens kind of behave in that manner because it's a desert, derelict wasteland, and they're all fucking stuck there type thing. And, you know, you can land on that and, you know, so... And then, oh, you have this other planet that's lush jungles and all kinds of stuff like that. So,
yeah, I was almost.
That seems like it has everything to it. You know?
I was almost gonna say,
but
that,
that's kind of like a cop-out answer. Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad we were both on the same page on that one. Where it's like, this is really cool because you can kind of do everything, but it feels like it's cheating. But it is really cool. Even in and of itself, it's really fun. Like being able to have like I always tell people with Eve, what I really like about Eve is that sense of scale. Because like your smallest ship is like 20 meters long, maybe. I think there might even be some that are smaller than that. But then your biggest ship is like 20 kilometers long.
Yeah.
And people are playing throughout that whole range of sizes. So there are people that are actually playing a 20-kilometer ship.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then there's other people zipping around doing little dogfights while that guy's focusing on this other thing, and it's just like that. You don't get that in a whole lot of games. Most of the time, you're in like everybody's the same general size, and and if they're massively different sizes, they don't tend to interact with each other. But in space, you can make that work. Where it's like this one guy, he could be the size of a fucking planet. And everybody's playing around that one player, and he's making decisions that maybe affect other people, and then maybe what they're doing affects what he does and all that stuff. So it's really cool being able to have that sense of scale, and you can't really do that outside of space.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really, work. Somebody put, actually, to piggyback onto that, somebody put one of those big-ass ships, they're called Titans.
Yeah.
Somebody put one of those in Crisis. That was a trip. They put it next to that starting island in Crisis. You've played Crisis at all?
The original one?
Yeah, the original Crisis.
First Crisis? No.
Okay. Well, basically, like, the first Crisis, you start on this island, and the whole first, 2 hours or so takes place on this one island. Somebody put a Titan next to it, and it was just fucking massive compared to this thing. Like, the whole island took up maybe, the front little portion of the ship.
Really?
And then the whole, and they ran along the ship and they proved that it was the correct size and game scale by using some debug tools. But then they were running around on the top of the ship and they jumped off, and he was skydiving off the side of the ship, and the ship was barely moving because it was so big. You could barely see that you were making progress. He was in one of the cargo holds inside the ship where all the docking bays are, and the ship has 3 or 4 of them. And he was inside one of those, and he was skydiving from the top to the bottom. And it took 4 minutes to get from the top to the bottom of this one bay in the ship.
Jesus.
So yeah, if it was land based, it wouldn't really work to have somebody that big because it's just huge.
Yeah. That's true.
Sorry, another random tangent.
No.
I just love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, that's really fucking cool. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think that's kind of a cop-out. But I think, for right now, I probably would have to be the fantasy thing, I guess. I don't know. I'm always interested in new things, which is the reason I loved the Assassin's Creed series, is because it was always a new era or area, all these.
I mean, there was Ship Simulator for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Back to Assassin's.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always these new things we haven't seen in games before.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
why I hate everybody that gives Assassin's Creed so much shit. It's yeah, it is an annualized franchise, all that stuff. It's true. Yeah, it can be buggy. Yeah. But at least it's something different. At least it's not Madden every fucking year. At least it's not Call of Duty.
Yeah.
There could be worse things that are annualized. I'm always impressed that they did annualize it, because it's this does not seem like something that should be annualized.
Yeah, that's true. And it's only really been buggy once.
Yeah.
And it was only for a little while, and then they fixed it. When I started playing it, I've had no problems with mine.
Yeah, I waited for all the patches to roll out, and I haven't had any issues either. I had one instance of somebody popping off the ground when I came around a corner.
Yeah.
But it was oh, look at this person teleporting 5 feet in the air and then
and
back
see,
down.
3 was far more buggy to me than Unity has been. 3 was horrible with the pop in and stuff like that.
Can we just consider that one not an Assassin's Creed game?
I didn't mind that one.
Ugh. I didn't like Connor. I didn't like the forest. I like the idea of there being a forest in the game, but the way it was done in that one, I just, for some reason, did not like.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite game. Let's just put it that way.
Fair enough.
I may actually like Assassin's Creed 1 better than 3. And that's saying something for me.
Holy shit.
I'm not a fan of 1.
All right, guys. Well,
on that bombshell,
if you have a favorite era, time, theme, anything for games, let us know. We're at Some Gaming Cast on Twitter. Did I get it right? Yes, it's at Some Gaming Cast on Twitter. You can email us at somegamingpodcast@gmail.com. Not at some. Fucking man, god damn it. So close. I've gotten it right once.
You got it right twice.
Twice?
Yep.
Fuck it.
Hey, I'm giving you credit here.
I'm gonna blame it on the fact that I've been drinking.
Yeah, sure. That's it.
It's somegamingpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Right. Yep. That's it. And at somegamingcast on Twitter. Let us know what your favorite video game places to play in are. And any other questions or topics or anything like that you guys have. Suggestions, let us know.
Suggestions.
But yeah, as always, thanks for hanging out. See you guys next time.
Bye.